Tori, again, this is a big swing game the rest of the way here in the ACC.
And anytime you're playing in the ACC, the margins between wins, losses, and ties are so very thin. So again, it comes down to which team can execute most effectively inside of the offensive third.
Just like that, underway here from Thompson Field in Blacksburg. NC State's in the whites today, Virginia Tech in the home blacks. I think too, Tori, if you're Virginia Tech, like, you've got to strike first and early here in this contest after last week in Charlottesville.
I think, you know, for Virginia Tech, they've shown that they've been able to possess the ball. They do a really good job of managing the play and the pace of the game, but so does NC State. And so that's why I think tonight's matchup is going to be so pivotal. Virginia Tech likes to press, and you can kind of see that's something that they're already doing. They're going to try to put NC State under an immense amount of pressure and cause turnovers higher up on the field.
Hokies work with that signature pressure under longtime head coach Mike Brizendine. The pack looked to push early on, and Virginia Tech takes it away as they work up the far touchline. A collision early, and here come the Hokies. Ethan Hackenberg out in front, a chance, and it's snatched away.
And you can see just the frustration on Hackenberg. Gets in on a 1v1 opportunity, and that's just where you have to be clean in terms of your execution. The ball played over the top. It's the timing of it, just the placement. He ends up passing it directly to Carvalho versus sliding it in the pocket.
Ethan Hackenberg, who we just highlighted, of course, leads this Virginia Tech team with 3 goals here in 2024. I believe there's some confusion down here on the pitch.
One thing you can expect is anytime you've got 2 conference opponents playing each other, it's going to be a very competitive match and undoubtedly a physical one as well.
Oh, again, Virginia Tech needing to strike early. Ethan Hackenberg had the early opportunity, and now the Wolfpack look to respond. Saw Ian Marcano in the middle there. And here comes Chow in Virginia Tech. Ball knocked away momentarily, and here come the Hokies up the far touchline. Well, let's take a look at longtime head coach Mike Brizendine, what he's done here in Blacksburg. It's been pretty impressive. 6 NCAA tournament appearances, trying to get the Hokies back for the first time since 2021. And I'll tell you what, Tori, it feels like they've been one of the surprise teams in the ACC, regardless of losing the last 3 with where they're currently at in the years. There's another collision. No whistle blown.
You can see, yeah, and Quill just a little bit upset. He feels like he got bodied off that ball. But I think, you know, it's really important these first couple of minutes. The officials have to set the tone for the game. If they start calling things too tight, you're going to see players start taking lots of falls to try to draw those fouls. And that's what better players do. They try to set themselves up in situations to draw those fouls and create those free kick opportunities for their team.
Virginia Tech's been aggressive early on. NC State now in the defensive third. Here comes the pack on the far side. Inside it goes, and cleared away by Virginia Tech.
One thing about Virginia Tech, they do such a good job of getting numbers behind the ball. So even though they're in that 4-3-3, their front runners up top aren't afraid to get back and defend, and they're the ones that are often dictating which direction the ball will go in. They're trying to make play predictable for all of their players behind them, and that's often what results in the turnovers, which is a fantastic result from a high press.
You saw Jonas Kira get in there. And once again, back to the defensive third for NC State. Another slew of hard contact on that far touchline.
And Krieg just coming up to make the tackle on that one. Just a little bit too hard, and as a result, Lovelace is the one that hits the ground.
Another look here. Harrison Krieg, what a story for Virginia Tech, and
just
he's involved early on.
Yeah, and just the timing of that was just a little bit off. I mean, Krieg was trying to anticipate the pass, but Lovelace was able to get a touch on it before.
Working up that far touchline.
And again, you can just see Quill running all the way back. Keep in mind that he's a front runner, one of the forwards that they have up top, and he's doubling back on that outside, coming all the way back defending. It's just incredible work rate.
Speaking of Declan Quill, what does it, I know we talked about it briefly in the open, but what does it mean for this Virginia Tech team to have him back in the lineup as a regular for the Hokies?
Well, and speaking with Coach Brizendine, he just kind of mentioned that he's a player that really hasn't tapped into his potential yet. I mean, every time he starts to get a rhythm of play, he comes up with some sort of a soft injury. So it's nice to have him back in, and they're just hoping for consistent play out of him.
Here's Marcano on the near touchline.
You can just see Healy, just the work that he does in the center for the Wolfpack, being able to play that ball back and get numbers into the attack. That's one of the things that he does so well for this NC State team, is being able to elevate the play of those around him, but also getting numbers up into the attack. And when you're able to get numbers into the attack, especially by bringing your defenders forward, it unbalances teams.
Ethan Hackenberg. And then Willie Cardona has it on the near touchline. Another big piece of this Virginia Tech team that has been around for quite some time as well.
And Virginia Tech loves to play with inverted backs. Cardona, you'll see him get really high into the attack. He is, even though he's a defender, he's one of their offensive threats. He's a player that can dribble, can take players on, but most importantly, the passes that he's playing into the front are able to break lines.
Some contact once again, and here come the Hokies as a member of the pack hits the deck. NC State, though, quickly to the ball. And a whistle's blown once again. I'm going to look at first-year head coach Mark Hubbard for NC State. Again, very successful at New Hampshire and now here in the ACC.
And it's exciting to see him part of the ACC. He mentioned that this is a job that he's always wanted to be a part of, is to be a part of such a prolific conference. I mean, you look at it, anytime you're talking college soccer, everybody always talks about the ACC. Just the level of play and the elitism that comes out in the ACC is absolutely phenomenal.
Just saw Liam Bennett there on the near touchline. A transfer from New Hampshire for NC State. Pack trying to push, trying to create. And Virginia Tech again aggressive defensively. Maybe a chance here. Inside it goes, and it's knocked away.
And it's interesting, you know, when we talk about Mark Hubbard in his first year at NC State, he's been able to do some fantastic things right out of the gate, and a lot of that has to do with just the players that he's recruited. When you look at the makeup of his team, he's got a lot of transfers in there, 11 transfers, 3 freshmen, and being able to tap into that transfer portal allows them to be able to have some veteran experience right off the bat.
Oh, an early opportunity for NC State. Here comes the corner. Pack trying to strike first, and it's headed away. NC State still with the chance, and Hackenberg takes it away for Virginia Tech. A sliding stop and a whistle's blown.
And I think that's the right call. Johannes was on the dribble and being able, just getting taken down behind Markovic, taking him down from behind. You can just see that explosive touch. Maybe it's a little bit closer than I thought.
Yeah, Markovic was not a fan of the call. Not a fan of that
When you
one.
see the replay, neither one of them had the ball.
Nonetheless, the Wolfpack miss on an early chance, but maybe another. Healy had it momentarily.
It's
Ethan Hackenberg nearly took it away. And here comes NC State and Markovic on the near touchline. Kind of playing back and forth here. Hasn't been a lot of rhythm maybe to the contest early on, Tori, but NC State had the corner opportunity. But beyond that, it's been just a lot of back and forth in the middle.
Well, in the first couple of minutes of any game, it's about dictating pace, which team's going to come out ahead in terms of possession. And I do think it's been pretty evenly balanced up to this point. I mean, Virginia Tech's put a lot of pressure. And when they've had the ball, there's been a couple scenarios where they've forced it. I think they need to continue to work it around, especially when NC State's got 4 defenders on the back line. They're going to have to work a little bit harder to move those players out of position so that they can find those channels in the pockets of space. There's going to have to be a lot more dynamic movement up top by Sullins and Quill and Hackenberg.
Floki Stevenson had it momentarily, and here's Willie Cardona up the near touchline, trying to find the angle, slips inside. Here's Cardona, a chance, and it's cleared away by NC State.
And Cardona getting into the attack really creates opportunities for Virginia Tech. Santos had to slide out from the middle to cover him, which creates that channel and that space in the middle. Just need a better service inside the box next time.
Virginia Tech trying to put more pressure on the Wolfpack, and as Ian Marcano takes a tumble, the Hokies retain possession.
You talk about a player that has a significant impact on this Hokie team, it's Marcano. The amount of ground that he covers box to box is absolutely amazing. He's just one of those players that keeps working at all times, both sides of the ball. Very explosive on the dribble.
Carter Hensley now for Virginia Tech. Again, one of the anchors on this Hokies team, wearing number 29. Feeds it inside, a chance, and it's snatched on a hop. Garvejo fielded it on one hop, ranging to his right. And that brings up quite the conversation, Tori, for NC State. There's quite the goalkeeper comparison. The Pack have gone with 2 all year.
And this is an area where they're very solid in. Both Enzo Carvalho and Logan Erb have split the goalkeeping duties. In fact, Erb was just named co-defensive ACC Player of the Week based on his outstanding performance against Stanford. But in talking with the coaching staff, they feel like both of these players are equally deserving of the starts. They've been alternating games throughout this entire season.
Logan Erb also, who does not get the start today, leads the ACC in save percentage. Shows maybe one of the strengths for NC State.
I think when you can have that many pieces to the puzzle, it helps to keep you in the game longer, especially when it comes to postseason play.
Carter Hensley has it taken away momentarily. And Santos sends it to the back third for NC State. Virginia Tech trying to snap a 3-game conference losing streak. NC State trying to build some momentum after drawing number 2 Stanford on the West Coast.
And NC State, when you look at their record, I don't think it's really telling of the type of games that they're able to play. Even though they haven't won a game on the road, they have had a couple of really good ties, most notably the one against Stanford, number 2 team in the country. To be able to walk out of there with a tie, that's almost like a win.
Willie Cardona, maybe an opportunity. There's the feed. And it's headed away. Ethan Hackenberg leads the team in goals, and it's snuffed by NC State. Here comes the Wolfpack. There's the cross. And Cooper Wenzel will boot it away. The Pack were trying to push, but to no avail to this Virginia Tech defense.
Well, and I think, that, again, that just shows how explosive this NC State team can be. I mean, Cardona was able to get in the attack for Virginia Tech, created an opportunity for his team, and then the Wolfpack answered back really quickly, recognized that there was an opportunity for a quick counterattack.
Tori, we were talking about NC State so far this season, and you were mentioning they're better, quite frankly, than their record. How big would a win today be for NC State and Blacksburg?
Significant, especially with the ACC rankings as tight as they are. I mean, to be able to come into Virginia Tech's home turf and disrupt them, it would be a big win for them.
Willie Cardona. Here's an opportunity. Feeds inside. There's the cross. Krieg sends it away. Again, the Hokies are putting pressure on NC State. But again, the Pack have prevailed, and Virginia Tech has missed out on some opportunities.
And Cardona is doing a fantastic job of getting down line, getting up the field, being able to slip these balls in. And you can see the service there from Krieg, just looking for somebody on the back post, but the runs inside the box are not organized enough, nor is the timing right. We've seen a couple of opportunities where Cardona's served him across, and the numbers in the box, the runs in the box have not been timed well. So again, that's an area that Virginia Tech continues to struggle in. It's a part of their game they're continuing to try to round out.
We were talking about it before we went on air. There's a way to track the sprint speeds for these guys on the pitch, and we were joking about, wow, it may be Willie Cardona for Virginia Tech that has the fastest.
Yeah, but, you know, for me, if I'm watching this game and I'm NC State coaches, that's one thing I'm taking note of, like how high up on the field Cardona actually gets, because that's space that NC State can exploit into. If one of their forwards, if Phillips were to check into that space, they could quickly flip the script on Virginia Tech.
Here's Cardona again. Declan Quill trying to create space. And here's Carter Hensley. Tried to find Quill inside, and out of play it goes.
And again, a nice look for Virginia Tech. Cardona comes up. He finds Declan, who's checking back. Declan's able to face up. That's where I'd like to see movement from Solons come across the line. A lot of the runs that we're seeing out of the Virginia Tech offense are very up and down, more vertical. Movement across horizontally across that defensive line. They can be able to connect passes, split defenders, which will result in a 1v1 on the goalkeepers.
Carvejo set to boot it away. Grad student out of Brazil. Clamana on the far touchline works it back to the back third. Virginia Tech continuing to be aggressive defensively as NC State tries to work inside.
And they're doing an exceptional job. When we spoke to Coach Mike Brizendine, he mentioned, you know, we haven't really faced a team that plays a 4-4-2 diamond, so this is going to be new to us in terms of how we defend it. But I think so far, through these first few minutes, Virginia Tech's done an exceptional job. They've managed to get numbers behind the ball, and it's caused a lot of chaos in the center of the field for this Wolfpack team.
Willie Cardona once again. Here comes Floki Stevenson. So many guys around this Virginia Tech program rave about Floki Stevenson, including head coach Mike Brizendine, saying his Icelandic boy. Everybody loves Floki Stevenson here in Blacksburg.
When you think about that he's a freshman and he's able to step in and play the kind of role that he is, especially on that back line for this Virginia Tech team, it's extremely impressive. I mean, when you look at the competition within this conference and then just around the league in general, to be able to step in and have the kind of impact that he is, and make no mistakes about it, a center back role, that's a big leadership role too. And sometimes freshmen don't have the personalities to be able to take on the responsibility, the level of communication that's required to play that position. And Stevenson's done a phenomenal job.
Liam Bennett on the near touchline. One of 3 transfers from New Hampshire to follow head coach Mark Hubbard from Durham, New Hampshire to Raleigh, North Carolina. And what has been, to me, Tori, impressive so far is their play has translated to the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to step in and just, play as well as they are. That's good clearance there by Virginia Tech.
Bennett once again. Maybe an opportunity for NC State. The feed inside. Wenzel sees it snatched away.
And that's Healy who sets that up for this Wolfpack team. He's able to find that space on the left-hand side. Gets a good quality service inside the box, and the timing of that run was nearly perfect. Take another look. You can see that service in. And the timing of that run was nearly perfect, but Wenzel was able there to come up with a big stop. Keeps us scoreless in this first half.
Cooper Wenzel, somebody who, coming into this season here in Blacksburg, there was that keeper competition. He wins it at the last second, and it has been his job to lose since then.
And that's the thing about goalkeepers. I mean, you need them to make saves, but you also need them to make the big saves. You need them to be able to keep you in games and big games, games where there's points on the line, such as tonight. And Wenzel has just been so solid back there. Just the confidence that he exudes every time he steps out on the pitch, the communication that he has with his teammates, that back line is absolutely seamless.
Cooper Wenzel for Virginia Tech. Transfer from Cal State Northridge out of Fresno, California. Putting his stamp on this contest early on. Andy Sullen's trying to track it down. And the Wolfpack able to send it away. Liam Bennett with pace. There's the through ball. One-on-one opportunity. And it's knocked away again momentarily, and that shot sails high.
And Santos just trailing on top of the 18. Ball's dished off to him. He's able to take a nice clean shot on it.
Aiden Payne to Enrique Santos on the inside. And now the Pack with another corner opportunity. On the flip side, how important is it for NC State to strike first, continuing that momentum from out in Palo Alto?
Well, in the ACC, I mean, the margins for wins, loss, and ties are so slim. So a lot of times your goals are going to come in the form of a corner kick or a set piece. And we saw that definitely ring true for Virginia against Virginia Tech.
High arcing shot, the header, and Virginia Tech clears it away. Here comes Marcano and the Hokies. But NC State takes away maybe the opportunity going the other way for Virginia Tech.
And just the defensive positioning for Virginia Tech. I mean, they had players on both the near and far post, and that's exactly the reason why you leave those players there. That way, as the balls comes in, if the goalkeeper makes your save, the second save can come in the form of your defender on the post, and that was just phenomenal work by Krieg to get that clearance.
Hokies continue to apply that pressure here in Blacksburg. The cross knocked away. And here's Ian Marcano. Declan Quill hits the deck. No whistle blown, or was there? Yes.
Here's another look. Comes the corner kick across, and you can see the player that gets on the back post. It's actually, oh, it wasn't Krieg. That was Stevenson. Just absolutely fantastic. You can see his instincts are so right on. Cover that post. Was able to make that second save. I mean, without him there, that was definitely be a goal. So just, again, I mean, as a freshman, to have the instincts to tuck in behind your goalkeeper, just tremendous defending on his part.
Again, right on cue for Floki Stevenson as Declan Quill checks out, and Oliver Roach is in the contest. He's somebody, Tori, that Mike Brizendine talked about is so close to breaking through. We're going to see him get an opportunity today, you would think, and the Hokies hope he can capitalize. Sent inside. Here's Roach. Willie Cardona. A chance, and snatched away.
And you can see why that goalkeeping battle there for NC State is so solid. I mean, Carvalho confident coming up in the air, able to pull that one down without any challenges from Virginia Tech.
Another whistle blown.
Santos and Johannes just getting tangled up in the middle of the field, but that's good defending on Johannes's part, kind of slowing down play. I don't think that was intentional, but that's a foul that I'm okay with. Anytime it's in the middle of the field and it can slow the team down and allow your teammates to get back behind the ball, that's an okay foul.
Taken away by Virginia Tech, and here's Noe Uimana. First time we've called his name today, and Cardona once again gets involved. Ian Marcano slows down the pace. In your eyes, Tori, who is controlling the pace in this contest? Here's Uimana, knocked away, and the Wolfpack get the ball back.
I think Virginia Tech's high press has definitely posed a little bit of a challenge for NC State. However, I think they've handled it pretty well. I mean, they're finding the players that are open, and they're breaking that press from time to time. So I think, you know, for Virginia Tech, if they're going to commit to a press, they have to make sure that everybody's on the same page and that there isn't any players that are open that they can get the pass to.
Willie Cardona. Pedals behind. Uimana. Feed inside was knocked away. Santos. Uimana. Floki Stevenson trying to reset for the Hokies.
And you can see the space that's open on the far side of the field.
Cardona knocked away again. NC State continuing to deny Virginia Tech. Cardona with another opportunity.
I think for Cardona in that moment, I mean, that's an opportunity to play a ball across the field, switch the point of attack. I mean, that backside's going to be open. It's going to cause the Wolfpack team to have to shift around and create opportunities to get in.
Here's Cardona, and the cross wasn't there. Roach.
It was a nice cross. I mean, just Roach has to keep his eye on it. He has to anticipate that where the ball's going to go. And again, it's just about the runners in the box. They've got to anticipate when they see Cardona going down. You should have a player running near to the near post, the far post, and there should be a player trailing to the spot we call the slot, which is at the top of the six or where the penalties mark is. You should have 3 runners in the box at all times.
Roach, the sophomore out of Denmark. This one booted away, and a little scrum that Virginia Tech ends up coming up with the ball. Cardona, Andy Sullins, transfer from Virginia. He hits the deck, and a whistle's blown once again on Markovic. Second time today that he's been the culprit, number 6 in white. And Virginia Tech retains possession. Don't think Cardona was quite ready for that one on the near touchline as NC State gets the ball back.
With 15 minutes to go in this half, you know, there's kind of a point. This is the point of the half where players are going to start to get a little bit more tired. So it wouldn't surprise me to see either of these teams makes a few substitutions just to kind of uplift the energy.
Johannes to Krieg. Virginia Tech once again with possession. Hokies and Wolfpack facing off in Blacksburg for the first time since 2016. And Virginia Tech trying to strike first. Once again, though, the Wolfpack.
Just look at that work rate by Marcano. I mean, just doubling back. He's so quick on his feet, his explosiveness, being able to step in. He uses his body to shield, to step in and make that win on that ball. That's just heads up midfield play right there.
And he's one of the guys that everybody in Blacksburg is quite excited about, Tori, with what he's done here his freshman season. Uemata, and here comes a corner for Virginia Tech. Feels like the Hokies, with all the pressure they've had on NC State, need to capitalize on one of these opportunities, Tori, here.
I think they need to take their time and, number one, make sure the service is a quality service. Ball with good high arcing ball with backspin. And then making sure you have players that are inside the box, making it difficult for Carvalho to get an eye on it.
Ian Marcano sends it away. Inside, knocked away. Carter Hensley tried to track it down. And the Hokies are going to retain possession.
And Pluminetta does a good job of just putting his body between himself, the ball, and the Hokie player, just able to keep it out of bounds, not allowing Virginia Tech any opportunity for another service.
Andy Sullins throws it in. Cardona back to Sullins. One-on-one, the strike, and it sails left.
We've seen Virginia Tech take several shots this evening, but for me, it's the quality of shots and how many shots are actually on goal. I mean, obviously you have to shoot in order to score, but it's one of those things that you got to have a discussion about in the locker room is if we're going to keep putting balls in the area, we're going to spray the goal, we got to make sure we have runners that can get a foot on it, can get a toe on it, can get a knee, get a head on it, and convert some of these opportunities.
How much of that is a credit to NC State, or how much of that is maybe a detriment to Virginia Tech?
I think it's, you know, for Virginia Tech, they're creating those chances, those moments for themselves. And I think it's just about having the focus and the player awareness, you know, just being more in tune with what their teammate is thinking and being able to capitalize on those movements, those moments.
Hokies trying to push once again. Krieg on the far touchline. In Marcano, one-on-one. And the Hokies continue to go to work. Krieg trying to break through. Knocked away by NC State. That is a big reason why Harrison Krieg, that effort and momentum, has kind of forced his way into the lineup for Virginia Tech.
You know, he has a very fascinating story. He's a player that came to Virginia Tech as a walk-on player, and just through his play and his work rate, his commitment, he has earned himself a starting position this fall. And I love stories like this, always for the underdog, and he continues to have a huge impact on this back line for this Hokie team.
Played his freshman year on the club soccer team here at Virginia Tech. Alex Perez in the game for the first time today, as Andy Sullins takes his seat. Final 11 and a half minutes left to go here in half number 1.
You know, an interesting stat for Virginia Tech, every time they've made a substitution, that's when their goals have come. So here we are with 11 minutes in this first half. We've seen several substitutions. Will that stat hold true for this half?
Oliver Roach was a substitution. Now Alex Perez.
And you can see right there how NC State was able to break the press. You had Markovich on the dribble, and Roach was applying the pressure, but his angle of approach wasn't quite as precise as it needed to have been. If he had a little bit more of an angle on it, then Markovich wouldn't have been able to make that dribble around him.
Carter Hensley. Oh, what a pass. On the outside it goes. And it's sent away.
And I think for Virginia Tech, it's also talking about when you do get into those spaces on the 18, you dribble down to the end line, you want to serve that ball backwards. You want to serve it at a diagonal to where that ball is a low, hard-driven ball inside on top of the penalty kick. When you do that, it draws the goalkeeper near post, and it creates space and opportunity on that backside for an easy finish.
Santiago Hoyos in for NC State. Junior out of Columbia is on his 3rd school in 3 years. Started at College of Charleston, then Gardner-Webb, and now NC State.
Isn't it crazy to think how that transfer portal just continues to reshape college sports in general? I mean, all of these teams able to capitalize on transfers, players who, you know, want a different experience at a different school.
And again, it goes back to Mark Hubbard and what he's done here in year number 1 to rebuild this roster. 11 transfers as a whole in Raleigh. Two on one here, a little bit of a tangling up, and Craig takes it away. And a whistle's blown, and let's see what's the call here. Again, Harrison Craig making an impact here in half number 1.
And Virginia Tech gets the ball back because at the moment when the foul was made, Virginia Tech had advantage, so the referee was letting them play through, and then once they got dispossessed, he called the foul back.
Here's Kira on the near touchline. Had the lone goal for the Hokies in Charlottesville last Friday. Banging and bumping there. And the Wolfpack look to push. One-on-one with Stevenson. The two sides get tangled up, and Virginia Tech comes away with the ball.
Karamoko is a very physical player for NC State. He's a player that is highly touted. He made the ACC preseason watch list, and last year for 2023, he was named to the All-ACC freshman team. He currently leads NC State in shots through the first 10 games with 28. He's a very dynamic player up top, so the Hokies are definitely going to want to make sure they keep an eye on him.
Well, I was trying to push once again there, too. Out of New York, New York. Hakeem Karamoko. Final 7.5 minutes of the half. Feels like somebody's gonna break the ice here. Alex Perez. Uemana. And what a stop there.
We haven't called Heff's name very much this half, but I think a lot of that is just because he's so composed in his defensive abilities. He's very solid on that 1v1, and you saw just the calmness that he had about himself when he was making sure to shield that ball off for Carvalho.
Hokies apply that signature pressure. And Marcano once again stifles him and takes it away.
And Carvalho just exceptional on the dribble, just such a low center of gravity, allows him to be able to keep the ball tight to his body in those spaces.
Maybe a chance for NC State, but a little bit too strong there, and Cooper Wenzel tracks it down.
I will say I've been really impressed with NC State's ability to look for the counterattacks. Every time Virginia Tech has made it into the offensive third and they've been able to dispossess Virginia Tech, they've looked for that quick counterattack. And I think that's smart because the Hokie team does like to put numbers forward. A lot of times you'll see Cardona go up on the right side, Krieg, and that leaves space. If NC State plays more direct over the top into those pockets, those corner areas, they could have some success against this Hokie team.
Sun starting to set at Thompson Field in what could turn into quite the chilly second half here in Blacksburg, as we're halfway through October. Oliver Roach trying to push the pace. Roach sends it high. You like that there for Virginia Tech, Tori?
You know, it wasn't a bad look, but he did have Roach on the right side. I think he could have played a split pass, and it might have put Roach in a better position for a shot. Again, it's talking about quality of shots versus just shooting the ball. I mean, he needs to keep his head down for sure, get a little bit more over it.
What does NC State have to do to find themselves some more opportunities here in the last 5 minutes of this half?
I think the moments that they've had some success against Virginia Tech is when they've chosen to play more direct and they have decided to go for that quick counterattack. I think they need to be decisive in the areas that they're trying to exploit Virginia Tech, specifically in the corner areas, the wide spaces. That's where Virginia Tech is kind of giving up some space at the moment. And for Virginia Tech, it's continuing just to choose when to press and then making sure that our angles of our press, we're all committed and not letting NC State find that open player, the pivot player.
Tried to find Alex Perez inside, and the Wolfpack clear.
Well, you know this Virginia Tech team can possess. They did an outstanding job against Virginia. In fact, they actually led in shots, but didn't come away with the result that they wanted. When we spoke to Coach Brizendine, he mentioned, you know, he's like, it's great if you can possess, it's great if you can shoot, but if you can't score, you don't get the results that you want. So, you know, that's a point of emphasis for this team, is being able to have the numbers in the box. They've certainly created the moments for themselves. It's just being able to finish and making sure the timing of the runs in the box are there.
Under 3:30 to go. Scoreless here in Blacksburg. How about that? Kira takes it away. Ioannis, transfer from Kentucky. Here comes Ian Marcano. Feeds it out front, and nobody was home.
And that was a nice idea, just a little bit too much pace on that ball, but he recognized that he had Perez going in there as well as Roach, and the placement of the ball wasn't too bad, just a little bit over hit, but I like the idea of being able to play direct in moments. You know, it's interesting, Marcano, he is a little bit smaller in size on the field, and you know, you often wonder how that's going to relate to the game and the opponent that you're playing against, but I think he continues to prove himself in terms of just his athletic ability, the ground that he can cover, and just his contribution in terms of creativity.
Yeah, Ian Marcano, to your point earlier, that speed is a difference maker in the middle for Virginia Tech.
Well, it's so important, especially for your central attacking players, to have that change of pace. And we've seen that exemplified tonight by Marcano. He can draw you in. It's almost like what I compare to in basketball when you have a point guard who's able to kind of do that quick stutter step and then beat you on the dribble. That's exactly what Marcano brings to this game, and it makes it tough to defend.
Willie Cardona, Oliver Roach, Alex Perez. Here's Cardona, and the sliding stop wasn't made.
And the idea was right, and Cardona makes an exceptional run. And that was all the right things, right play, just unfortunate. It didn't quite go their way.
Closing in on 60 seconds to go. Maybe one last dash here for NC State, or maybe we'll just go to the half. And here we go. Headed by Kira Marcano. And Virginia Tech momentarily had possession. Uemana tries to keep it, but the Wolfpack clear.
I think, you know, if I'm Coach Hubbard and his staff, as this team goes into the locker room at halftime, one of the things I would be talking to them about is, can we look to play a little bit more direct in moments, especially as Virginia Tech's putting numbers forward to press us. The way you break a press is by playing direct, and you do it quickly. So that would be something that I would challenge this Wolfpack team at halftime. Can we pick and choose?
NC State will start the second half with possession. And it feels like, again, we talked about it in the first half. Virginia Tech really wanted to strike early after struggling against UVA to do so. They did not do that, but should have plenty of chances here in the second half. Ian Marcano quickly involved once again, and then he dishes it off to Willie Cardona. Play it into Andy Sullins. Pack now trying to push, but Cooper Wenzel is right there to snatch it.
And that was a nice look, just being able to thread that ball through Virginia Tech's back line. Phillips just not on the same page.
Here may be a chance for the Wolfpack. Phillips weaving his way inside. Ball knocked out of play. And the Hokies and Wenzel will boot this bad boy away.
Well, and I think for Virginia Tech, they can take a deep breath and just a sigh of relief knowing that they're not getting a call out of that. I mean, because if Healy was able to take a free kick, he's been absolutely phenomenal this season. He's put several away, so they narrowly escaped a foul on the top of the 18.
Oliver Roach going one-on-one. Carter Hensley. Andy Sullins. And it's cleared away by the Wolfpack. Tried to find Uemana, who is streaking towards the box.
And I love just that, the cleverness that Roach displayed. Just a nice little heel flick to get that all going.
Marcano. And it's snatched out of the air. Marcano's so quick on the outside once again.
Extremely explosive, and I like the idea. Again, the service needs to be pulled out back more at an angle away from the goalkeeper. Cause a little bit of hesitation there. I mean, good ideas, again, from Virginia Tech. It's just making sure the quality of serves are a little bit crisper.
Loki Stevenson in the back third. Wenzel looking to reset. Taken away. Phillips. Hensley clears.
I think already you can see some of the adjustments that NC State has made the second half. They're stepping up. They're putting a little bit more pressure on Virginia Tech's back line, causing the Hokie team to really have to problem solve on how to break that pressure. Where is the open player?
Roach, one-on-one. What a play defensively.
And Heffis just comes up big, right time, being able to step in. Not overly physical, but just enough to dispossess Roach.
Uemana has it knocked away. Now it's Willie Cardona's turn.
Get your shape, Willie! Hook!
Roach. Marcano. And here comes the pack. Phillips on the loose. Here comes NC State. Phillips, one-on-one. Wenzel with the save.
And you can see Healy just trailing just on top of that 6 marker. And that's where you could see, I think Phillips was hoping to be able to pull that ball out a little bit more. If so, he would have hit the feet of Healy. That could have been a very dangerous conversion.
Krieg working the near touchline. And Virginia Tech retains possession as both him and Drew Lovelace got tangled up. Lovelace hit the turf and was pleading for a call. None to be made, and the Hokies keep the ball.
You can see again just the press there that NC State, they've got numbers in the middle of the field, so dribbling through the middle of the field isn't going to be your best choice for Virginia Tech. The ball can move a lot faster than any single player on the dribble. That's where a pass would break that a lot faster than somebody dribbling. Every time you dribble, it allows another player to get closer to you. It takes more time, and you saw there were 3 players that collapsed all around Johannes.
A little bit of a physical start to the second half as well, Tori.
Well, I think it's important for NC State. They need to have a little bit more of a mark on Virginia Tech. I mean, I think they kind of sat back a little bit first half. I don't think they played bad first half, but I think if they're wanting to be aggressive in terms of securing 3 points tonight against Virginia Tech at their home field, they're going to have to take a little bit more risks.
Pack trying to create. Healy. Wenzel runs it down.
And again, you can just see Stevenson, his awareness of where the Wolfpack player was, being able to get his arms out and shield all the way to ensure that Wenzel had that ball secured in his hands. It seems like such a little thing, but it's so important, especially for defenders, is knowing where your opposition is and just, you know, how to use your body in those moments.
Late whistle there as Healy hits the turf. Johannes caught him from behind. And NC State trying to put some pressure on Virginia Tech early on.
And this is just within a range that could be extremely dangerous. A little too far for a direct kick, but I would think that this is one that they will certainly serve up and allow a player to try to get on the end of it, either through their head or a foot. Float it to the back post.
Drew Lovelace looks like he'll be the one to send it inside. NC State looking to strike. He boots it away. Headed. And after it looked like a member of the pack, it was Healy on the near side, got smacked on the clear. Has hit the deck, and hopefully he's okay.
Here's another look at it. You can just see the ball comes around and just gets him smack dab in the nose.
Did you ever have that happen to you while you were playing in Knoxville for the Lady Vols?
A few times. I broke my nose in high school. That was miserable.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, that was miserable. Had a girl going up for a header, and she came right back, smack dab in my nose.
Healy. Stevenson knocks it away. Virginia Tech looking to push. What a play there. Healy again. Feeds inside, knocked away. Floki Stevenson. And what do we got here?
And that's a handball right on Healy. Yep, just came right into it.
And he knew it too.
Just his savviness over the ball. I mean, you could see he received the ball at his feet, and he turns and he looks up and he sees his player advancing towards the back line, and he times it, puts just enough backspin on it to float it up. Just his savviness. That's one of the things that makes him such an outstanding player for this Wolfpack team.
Carter Hensley on the near touchline. The crowd as well trying to create some energy in Blacksburg. Let's listen.
And that's nice work by Virginia Tech to kind of change the point of attack. Unfortunate that Roach isn't able to hold his player off there.
Willie Cardona, that breakaway speed. Marcano again, sends it inside, the header's knocked away. And the pack will clear. Uimana. Now Krieg. Trying to work into the offensive third. Cardona looking to create. Marcano looking to track it down. It's knocked away. And Virginia Tech's gonna have a corner.
And just that effort. I mean, Cardona going in, recognizes that Markovich is coming in for the tackle. He's able to play that ball off of his feet to earn the corner kick for Virginia Tech. It's the first viable opportunity that they're really seeing for themselves second half.
Hokies looking to strike first. Here we go. Headed in the air, and the pack prevail.
Looks like they're going to get another corner kick out of this.
Here we go.
See the ball comes across, good high arcing ball there. And Carvalho touches it before it looks like it went all the way out of bounds. That, and also it went off the head of the NC State player.
Ian Marcano. Whistles blown as Stevenson hit the deck. And NC State holds Virginia Tech to 0 for 2 in those opportunities.
And that was a phenomenal service across to the back post. You can see Stevenson's just trying to climb up on his back. And you got Bennett, who's backing up into him, results in that foul. A good effort. You can just see the aggressiveness. I mean, good idea, but excellent defending by Bennett. What's exciting to think about is that Stevenson is just a freshman.
Yes.
So when you think about what his potential is for this team, and if he's playing at this level of soccer as a freshman, just think about what it's going to be like in his 4th year wearing that Virginia Tech uniform and what his contribution is going to be to this team.
Karamoko and Santos back in the contest for NC State. And Mark Hubbard is pleading for something here. on the NC State side of the field.
Little jawing always makes for an exciting evening.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's Karamoko, and
makes those 1v1 matchups that much more exciting. Look at that, good sportsmanship between those two.
Kira for Virginia Tech. Always creates some excitement though.
You can see the high pressure Virginia Tech's applying. That's where as a team they have to collectively decide to press.
Stevenson the header.
Those are my favorite kind of passes, the ones off the back.
Karamoko, one-on-one. Krieg going to work. Roach the chase, kind of dives to the deck.
You can just see Karamoko, the size that he has as a front runner up top. It makes him tough to defend. He uses his body so well. Makes it difficult to be able to get your leg around and displace the ball at his feet. Just a very physical presence up top for NC State.
Sullins tumbles to the turf. How would you assess this start to the second half as a whole?
You know, I think NC State's doing a fantastic job. I mean, look, they've created some opportunities for themselves. Karamoko just narrowly able to get his solid side of that, just narrowly able to put it in the back of the net.
Another look. Header
Who is
sail
it
to
with
the
that
left.
service? It's Healy. I
Healy.
mean, just that service, his awareness, that's what I'm saying. That's what makes him such a phenomenal player, is his awareness, knowing where players are. And you have Karamoko on that back side. Virginia Tech's got to make sure that they've got numbers marked up inside of the box. But I think NC State's really answered the call the second half. They've decided to step up and play, challenge Virginia Tech a little bit more, put them under a little bit more pressure. And I think they're getting good results out of it. They're making it a more difficult game for Virginia Tech.
I think Karamoko may want that one back. Leads this team coming into tonight with 28 shots. And the header just wasn't there.
And what a deadly combination up top. You've got Healy and Karamoko both leading the team in shots taken. 26 for Healy and 28 with Karamoko. Obviously that stat goes up tonight after this game, but those two together, just the creativeness, the soccer IQ collectively is very high.
Andy Sullins. Ball's loose and the pack will clear. Tangled up there is Hensley. And the Wolfpack will now get the ball back going the other way.
And Noacker just kind of takes a hard fall on that one.
Grad student from Fairfax, Virginia, back in the Commonwealth. Roach.
I think the other thing to point out about NC State is their commitment to winning those 50-50 balls through the middle of the field has certainly gone up. Anytime there's a 50-50 ball, we've seen a white jersey go after it. They're essentially beating Virginia Tech to the ball.
Both Marcano and Santos tangled up there. Both hit the deck, and NC State continues to control. Again, I keep going back to this, but it feels like something has to give. We've seen some opportunities here and there for both sides, particularly Karamoko there. But just waiting for the momentum to shift one way or the other.
There's certainly going to come an inflection point in this game where both teams are going to have to decide to take more risks if they want to try to, you know, advance this game. And
Uemana, here's an opportunity. Sullins.
Come on, Jordan, get back in! Get back in!
Back to Harrison Krieg. Played inside, headed away.
Slide, 2v2, on the top.
Cardone on the outside.
Let him go negative, let him go negative, good. Slide up a little bit.
Hokies continue to apply pressure in the offensive third.
And just the communication on the field right now is exceptional from this Hokie team. You can tell them.
Uemata inside. Roach knocked away.
It's okay, it's okay. Head up, head up, head up.
Harrison Craig looking to push.
I think this is the challenge for Virginia Tech. You know, when you're advancing into the offensive third, it's just being patient in those moments and continuing to move the ball around. I mean, NC State's doing a really good job at shifting and staying in a good defensive shape. So you got to keep moving the ball around, working it around, trying to displace NC State to create those open gaps. But as soon as you recognize it, you have to go with speed. You can't afford to take your time in those moments. It's a patient buildup, and then it's a quick attack.
Andy Sullins hit off the backside of a member of the pack. Heffis inside the box had it nip off his backside. And the Hokies look to repossess and work back into the offensive third. But to no avail.
And Carvalho, you can see, just goes down on a front smother. I don't think it's necessary at that moment, but I think he's kind of doing it to give his team a break and to sort of get more control of the game in terms of game management, pace of this game, slowing it down, allowing his team to reset, refocus.
Well, you saw Uemata there, clearly frustrated by another missed chance. How do you balance that as a player? But first, here comes the pack. And it sails left.
And Phillips just doing work on Stevenson. I mean, sets the ball up on the right side of his foot, able to do a quick little cut back, gets it on his left foot. You'll see just the work. He gets in front of Stevenson, cuts it back, puts it on his left, just sails high over the bar, but just crafty work on the inside, stands Stevenson's up.
Donovan Phillip, the sophomore transfer from Oakland. But back to frustration. As a player, how do you balance not letting that affect you to the point where it affects your play, especially the back half of a contest?
I mean, soccer is a game of constant emotions, highs and lows, and I think that's the beauty of the game because it's not scripted, it's not predictable. It's anybody's game on any given night, and there is a certain factor of luck that goes into it. I mean, you can be a team that possesses the ball for 89 minutes, and in the 89th minutes you create a foul and that team gets a penalty kick and that's game over. So I think as soccer players you're kind of, you know, you understand that part of the game, but it's just really it's about being together as a team, and when you're tired, being able to rely on your teammate to help you do the work, be committed to doing the work and getting the job done. That's where, you know, that chemistry on your team comes from, and that was something that Coach Brizendine really talked about. He has a lot of transfers on this team, much like NC State. In order for that to work, you have to create a positive culture, a positive environment, and I think that's one of the things Virginia Tech has really done well, and it's obvious because year in and year out, they have a successful program. You don't see a lot of kids transferring away, and that's, especially in this day and age, that's the real signature of a good coach, of a good program, is that you're able to keep players.
Another shot at the 16th year head coach in Blacksburg. It's funny too, we were talking about culture with him and he came back saying, he asked us the question, he said, can you name a team that wins that doesn't have a good culture?
I mean, you're putting me on the spot. You want me to call a team out that doesn't have a good culture?
I'm not asking you.
I think, you know, I think in today's day and age, I mean, it's tough because if a player isn't happy with his playing time or, you know, feels like they should be getting more opportunities, they can hit the portal. And in some respects, I think that's good, but I also think it makes it too easy on players these days and they're not having to stick it out through the hard times. When I used to play, in order to transfer, if you transferred between a Division I program, you had to sit out a year.
Yeah.
So, you had skin in the game. You had to be sure about your decision that it was really something you wanted to do. Now we see players hopping all around, and then you throw NIL in there, and it just really complicates collegiate sports in general. I think it takes a lot of the fun, the amateurism out of the game.
11 transfers for NC State, 8 for Virginia Tech.
But, on the flip side of that, transfer portal really allows teams to inject some veteranness, some good players into your programs quickly. It allows you to backfill big holes quickly.
Here comes Ian Marcano. Hokies looking to create. The pace is kind of ramped up here in Blacksburg. There's the cross. Marcano. Willie Cardona. Inside, it sails left.
Something that's interesting to think about is this Virginia Tech team, the fewest shots that they've taken to date through a game was 10, and that was against Furman. And tonight, they only have recorded 5 shots.
And again, what does that say about NC State? What they've done defensively?
I think it says they've put together a solid game, but I think that also speaks to just the competition in this conference. I mean, something you also have to really consider is conference play. There's a level of familiarity to it. You you play the same teams year after year after year versus your non-conference opponents might vary from year to year. So there's a familiarity to the coaching, the quality of players that are going to produce and step out on the pitch. And for that reason, the games are a lot tighter, and we've seen that. You haven't really seen any blowouts in the matches throughout the ACC. They've been really tight games, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 0-0.
Well, what's crazy too, Tori, is we just showed a graphic talking about the games in which Virginia Tech has taken its fewest shots this season. Well, the Hokies have won all 3 of those games. Dating back to the season opener, only 12 against North Florida. Hokies put up 4 goals in that contest.
Games like this are really difficult because, you're creating chances for yourself, and you talked about not getting frustrated.
Uimana has it taken away. And Virginia Tech pleading with our officiating crew, and there's going to be a call here on that far sideline.
And this is a big moment for Virginia Tech. One that they really are going to need to take their time on and execute. I mean, in this situation, this position of it, here's another look at it, and you can just see a little trip up there, enough to have the foul awarded, and Uimana is very happy about that, I can tell you. But I think Virginia Tech has to be good in this execution. I mean, put the ball in the back post. Make sure you've got runners in the back post. Again, Carvalho's going to come out strong, very tall player, confident. The second shot's what's going to be really important, making sure you have numbers around and chaos. If there's a deflection, having players in the right place at the right time just to poke it in.
Rebounds here, boys. Come on.
Can the Hokies break the ice? No, they can't.
And Carvalho,
Solins came in,
yeah,
to your
Carvalho
point.
just so sure-handed on that. I mean, just a good look by Solins, but Carvalho, no match for him. He's just fantastic in the goal, and again, just a strong suit for this NC State team. I mean, keep in mind, the co-defensive player of the week is on the bench right now.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be able to have that kind of quality keepers for this program. But Mark Hubbard, he might be in his first season at NC State, but he's coached 7 straight NCAA appearances at New Hampshire. So this is a coach that is extremely familiar with what it takes to put together a winning team.
Here's Uimana, a chance, and it's saved away. No way Uimana had the opportunity of the contest, though 3-on-1, tried to take advantage, and the Wolfpack in that fantastic goalkeeping, to your point, prevail once again.
And Uimana, just fantastic. Good shot there, and I love that the runner's in the box for Virginia Tech. First time we've seen that all night in case there was a deflection. Uemana gets the shot off, but no match for Carvalho. Carvalho on the smother.
Can NC State take advantage? There was nearly a collision there, but Wenzel wins the battle.
And I think you can feel the energy of this game. The intensity has just picks itself up. Both teams really working hard. The pace of the match these last few minutes has really intensified.
Phillip hits the deck. And on that far touchline, have a whistle here. And hopefully Phillip is okay, as he got banged up once again against Jonas Kira, and there comes the card.
It's good to see Phillips back up on his feet. Good competition between Kara
Here's another look.
and Phillips there. And this is, honestly, this is a dangerous situation for Virginia Tech. I mean, Healy is so dangerous over the ball and set pieces. This is right within his range. We showed you guys earlier in the open just his ability to finish the ball. I mean, when he's over the ball, the bend that he puts, it's good for Virginia Tech not to see him up there, one of those guys taking it, because if he's the guy over the ball, he's going to put it in the back of the net.
I've checked in.
Can NC State strike first in Blacksburg?
I stand corrected. Healy is going up to
Oh.
take the kick.
At least you got a jacket on. I feel bad for you. You know I got the long sleeves. Is he got the short sleeves over there?
Here we go. Stevenson knocks it away. Karamoko gets tangled up with Roach, and this one is going to go in the favor of Virginia Tech.
And that's a smart play by Karamoko, just to try to slow down play, hang on to the ball, allows his teammates to get back defensively, preventing Virginia Tech from having any type of quick start.
Here comes Ethan Hackenberg back into the contest as Roach takes a seat. Hackenberg got the start today. He leads this Virginia Tech team in goals, yet he hasn't scored.
Yeah, but keep in mind, he had a brilliant
Yes.
breakaway first half. So for him to be a part of this lineup in the last 16 minutes of this match, he's got fresh legs, and fresh legs can make a huge difference at this point of the match.
That was in the, I want to say, first 5 minutes of the game. Heffis. On that far touchline it goes. Marcano takes it away. Here come the Hokies. Ethan Hackenberg. Tech looking to push. Carter Hensley.
You talk about a player that's just consistent day in and day out as Carter Hensley. He's been absolutely outstanding for this Virginia Tech program. And he's one of those seniors that they're going to be sad to see go. He's a captain of this team. Just his leadership, he has a calmness about him when he plays, just his composure of the ball.
To your point, one of two captains on this club with him and Willie Cardona. Pack looking to push. Santos. Knocked away by Cardona. Inside the header, and it sails to the left. Karamoko tried to head it in, but NC State looks like we'll have a corner opportunity with under 15 minutes to go.
And that was a little bit nerve-wracking. I mean, that was an almost near goal, a near own goal situation.
Oh, Cardona, yes, you're right. He was the one that...
Yeah, you had two players on the back post, and That's where, again, I think Virginia Tech, this is where it's tough. I mean, they're pressing so hard. It requires a lot of energy to get numbers forward, but then you got to work twice as hard to get back and get numbers behind the ball. And this game is a matter of inches, and that can come in the form of, you know, not being goal side.
Kiramoko tried to get in there. It's knocked out of play, and the Pack miss out on an opportunity. A lot of traffic on a corner opportunity like that, but Virginia Tech is able to hold. And we remain scoreless in Blacksburg.
You can see Wenzel just really trying to tell his team just to settle down, take a deep breath. They've been under a tremendous amount of pressure these last few minutes.
Here comes Phillip. Kiramoko inside, 3-on-2. And I believe we got offsides here. Is that what we got here in this situation? Kiramoko pleading with our official. So is Healy. And Virginia Tech dodges another bullet right here.
I think that pass was initially intended for Healy, skipped right over his feet.
Here comes CJ Capola as well for the first time today. Substitution for the Hokies. Alex Perez also in the contest. As Noe Uimana takes a seat.
I think seeing some of these substitutions come in for Virginia Tech, it tells you that they understand that they need some fresh legs just to kind of keep this momentum going. They're pressing hard to try to get 3 points versus just one with a tie.
Kiramoko. It sails to the left. Went with that left foot, and it sailed over the fence off the wall of McComas here in Blacksburg.
And you can see Hensley just a bit frustrated there. I mean, he's asking whose mark is that? And that's a great question to ask because Kiramoko is wide open, able to receive the ball at his feet, take 3 or 4 dribbles to the outside, cut to the inside. And if it weren't for Hensley stepping up to pressure him, that would have been a clean look. Again, I think this is where Virginia Tech really has to communicate and make sure that everybody knows where their mark is. And we have a saying in soccer, especially on the back line, you have to be touch tight.
Tried to hit Alex Perez. Did Ian Marcano. And how about this? Virginia Tech gonna retain possession. On that far touchline, the Hokies looking to create. Maybe a little bit of, you have time, no doubt, but final 11 and a half minutes. Feeling a little bit more sense of urgency in Blacksburg. Phillip. Trying to get loose. And no one home as Wenzel scoops it up. Ten and a half minutes to play.
And that was a nice press by NC State, causing that turnover from Virginia Tech. And I'd like to point out, it's the angles of their approach. The first man pressures, the second player also steps up in a cover position, but they're making that play predictable.
Here comes Healy, sends it high.
And Healy just dancing, finds the ball at his feet and dancing his way into the box. Overhits it, but otherwise that was a nice look from NC State. And that's the kind of player right there that when you're looking for somebody to elevate the game or to finish it off for you, Healy is certainly that player.
I believe we got a yellow here too.
Looks like Perez is going to take that one for Virginia Tech. Sorry, Lopez. It was NC State, not Virginia Tech.
Here comes CJ Capola. And Krieg will toss it in. Under 10 minutes to go. Virginia Tech looking to win their first conference matchup in 3 contests. NC State trying to retain some momentum under first-year head coach Mark Hubbard. Ian Marcano. And sliding there is Healy. He'll be whistled for a foul.
And that was definitely a late hit there.
Good sportsmanship there.
You can see the fatigue is starting to set in on some of these Wolfpack players. You got another player on the ground with cramping. Healy just coming in late, clipping Johannes.
How much can cramping, granted it's not crazy hot outside, but how much can cramping be a factor this late in a contest?
When you think about the travel that NC State has endured, in addition just the high pace that this game has been at, you got to think about the load that these players are carrying on these legs from game to game. I mean, NC State flying back from Stanford, put in a really good game out there. Just being able to, get rehydrated, then just the intensity of the practice. And then tonight, I mean, just purely the pace of the game. I mean, they're running up and down the field. If you were to put a mileage tracker on them, I guarantee you some of these players are covering 10 miles or more.
Well, talking about the travel for NC State, they go out to the West Coast, come to Blacksburg, but then you go back to Raleigh. 3 of your next 4 are in Raleigh, North Carolina, which can help out the pack for the rest of the way.
And that's huge because this is a team that, again, has yet to really win on the road. They've had some convincing ties against Stanford, but otherwise they fell to Duke, they fell to UNC. So to be able to host the last half of your ACC conference matches at home, that's big.
Still 9 minutes to go here, though, in Blacksburg, as the Wolfpack look to steal one on the road against Virginia Tech. Back underway. Willie Cardona sends it inside. Stevenson couldn't get it to go.
And again, Cardona, another name we keep calling out. I mean, service was just impeccable. I mean, the ground that he covers and the way that he is able to get involved in the attack. One thing that I really want to point out with Cardona, when he chooses to get involved with attack, always seems to be the right moments. He's very valuable. A lot of their attack starts in that build out in the back, finding his feet and allowing him to get forward.
Here comes Santos. Pack looking to push. Trying to create. Inside, knocked away. Kira got in there. And finally, momentarily, Capola came up with it. And now it ends up in the hands of Carter Hensley. Here comes Ethan Hackenberg. One-on-one. Didn't have the numbers, and the pack will clear.
And that was good, clean defending by Virginia Tech. Solid, able to get it out of the box. Because you got to know, I mean, if you're a good player and you're inside the 6 or the 18, you're going to do everything you can to try to draw a foul, draw a penalty, especially with as few minutes that are on the clock as possible. So this is when your defending has to be tough, but it has to be clean. And sometimes the balance, finding that threaded balance between being physical, keeping up with your player, but then not hacking a player can be a challenge.
Good Cal, stand him up. Good Cal.
Marcano on the outside. Keeps it in play.
I mean, you can't coach that work ethic.
Alex Perez has it knocked away. Yeah, it feels like we've called his name all night long on the
I mean,
outside.
that's just absolutely phenomenal. You can't coach that level of intensity, that competitiveness, that work ethic. I mean, he sees the ball is going to be rolling out of bounds. He does a slide tackle to help his team maintain possession. Just that commitment. Look at that. I mean, that's exactly what you want out of your central midfielder.
All right, Tori, let's play hypothetical here. Still scoreless with about 6:10 to play. If this is a draw, how do you feel about the result if you're both sides? First, Hackenberg couldn't get it to go. A quick strike there for the Hokies. Ethan Hackenberg drilled himself in there, bid for his 4th of the year, brings the crowd to life, but NC State ends up holding. Another look.
Look at Hackenberg. I mean, he's up. He gets high enough. It's just the timing of it. Not able to head that ball a little bit down. Hits him a little bit too high up on the forehead, but way to get up. I mean, he's trying to keep his team in this game, trying to be the one that wins the game.
Trying to be the one to break through. But hypothetically, how do you feel about the result for both sides if you draw?
Well, I think if you're Virginia Tech, I mean, you certainly want to win this match because, you know, the teams that they have left remaining to play in the ACC, Wake Forest, at Wake, Duke, I mean, those are Clemson, those are going to be some tough games ahead of you. So you want to win where you can, pick up the W. Obviously, if you tie, if this ends in a tie, that's 1 point. That's better than not getting any points. And that's one of the things that Coach Brizendine had kind of mentioned, was that there were moments where he felt like they should have tied a game, at least pushed to get a tie versus, you know, walking away with a loss.
Can the Pack strike late? A chance, and it's knocked away by Virginia Tech.
And for NC State, I mean, you can just see how aggressive they're trying to play. They certainly want to try to get these 3 points. And again, for them, a win against Virginia Tech, a ranked opponent, would help them in the RPI as well.
Healy. And Wenzel on 2 hops, scoops it up. 4 and counting here in Blacksburg. Willie Cardona. Ethan Hackenberg. Maybe a late chance. Here comes Carter Hensley. Hackenberg. Both sides get tangled up. He regains, and it's cleared away by the Wolfpack.
And fantastic effort by Hackenberg just to try to keep that ball alive. Able to slip it through, but nobody was there inside the box.
Ethan Hackenberg again. Feels like he's trying to do it all on his own.
I mean, Choyap isn't quite sure what to do with him, and that little cutback that Hackenberg's got him twice.
Here comes Alex Perez. Ian Marcano.
Ball in, Nico. Good count. Good count.
Perez. 2-on-1.
Good. Down the line.
Phillip goes the other way. Wenzel comes up. And back and forth we go as Virginia Tech with Ethan Hackenberg tries to strike in the final 3 minutes. But nonetheless, we remain scoreless. The fresh legs have worked out here, Tori. I think that's fair to say.
I mean, it's helped Virginia Tech be able to keep the pressure on NC State. But I think NC State has answered back. I mean, we've seen them play a little bit more direct. That was one of the comments that we made coming out of the second half, one of the adjustments NC State would need to make. And they've caught Virginia Tech on their heels a few times by playing that direct ball.
Looks like on that far touchline, Phillip is cramping as well. Number 32 in white.
over those lads. Keep working. Look for those 10 left. Come on, guys. Use your heads. It's all there.
Floki Stevenson.
Open up, Sanch. Open up, Sanch.
Harrison Krieg with 2 to go. Feeds it inside. Here's Coppola. And it's knocked away by the pack.
And that feed in from Krieg into Coppola's feet was the right look, and Coppola able to spin his defender, just get tangled up a little bit. That could have been the chance for Virginia Tech.
1:30 to play. Most of the crowd at Thompson Field starts to rise to its feet.
This is where you push if you're Virginia Tech. I mean, obviously you're going to try to get a shot on goal. And if nothing else, you're trying to get a corner kick out of this.
Ethan Hackenberg sends it inside. And once again, NC State holds the Hokies off the scoreboard.
And Carvalho just comes up with a big save there again, taking his time, getting to his feet, taking time off the clock. You can hear the frustration in the Virginia Tech crowd. They want that ball put in play.
Here comes Karamoko. Maybe it's NC State's turn. Now Alex Perez. 30 seconds to go. Hokies have to scramble.
And that was some tough defending by Tommy on the outside. Perez just gets shut down with his defending.
And that's Ian Marcano, I believe, who's down on the natural grass on that far touchline.
I mean, as much ground as he's covered tonight and the speed at which he's done so consistently, I think anybody could understand why he might be experiencing a leg cramp at this stage of the game.
20.5 ticks to go.
You know, I think for Virginia Tech, as I'm kind of replaying this game in my mind, they did a lot of things well tonight. I think they created some chances for themselves inside the box. I mean, maybe that's where I would do some video film session, just discussing about, okay, better ball placement, being able to take it in line and cut it back, put that ball on top of the 6. Also just runners in the box, the timing of it. Otherwise, possession-wise, I think they look good. Another area I think Virginia Tech could improve upon is the high press. I mean, so a lot of times you'll see Solons running straight at a center back, but his angle of approach might be slightly off. As they're coming to cut off a center back, Solon has to make sure that that center back can't play to the defender on the side that Solon's running at. And we've seen them break the press a few times just from the angles being off, or making sure that the midfielders are joining in on that press as well. But that's me being extremely picky. I mean, I think this Hokies team has had a really well-rounded game tonight. Obviously, finishing has been a pain point for this team, but they've done a lot of really things well this evening.
What do the Hokies have to do to create one more chance?
Put everybody forward. Put all the numbers forward.
Can they do so? Carter Hensley, 12 to go. Here's Ethan Hackenberg. Last hope, headed away. CJ Coppola. And that is that. We remain scoreless, and the Hokies and Wolfpack will draw in Blacksburg.
What a competitive match between these two teams. And